John Means, I guess the one thing that I remember about you is last year in Boston, you took the mound, and I'm like, okay, who's this guy? I thought we were done with call-ups. And
So did I.
Exactly. So, I mean, what state of mind were you in when the phone rang?
Well, I wasn't even in the city that all of my stuff was. I was with my fiance down in Oklahoma, sitting on the couch, and we were just hanging out. I thought the season was over. I think I was drinking a beer. I think we were watching football on a Saturday, and I get a phone call. It was an unknown number. I should probably have Kent Qualls' number saved in my phone, but he called me, and I answered, and he's like, "Yeah, you've been throwing. Have you been, working out?" And I'm like,
no.
Yeah. No, I was like, yes, I have. I have been working out. I've been throwing, and it wasn't his fault. He didn't know. I was honestly just lying to him straight up that I told him I was throwing, and I wasn't, but I knew that was my shot, because I didn't think I would ever make it to the big leagues. I never thought I'd get a chance to play, because I didn't throw hard. I wasn't a prospect. I wasn't a guy that they looked as, trying to develop. So I got the call. I was like, yes. So where do you need me to be? I'm ready. And they sent me down to Florida for a week, and I made my debut in Boston, the next one.
Now, how'd you do in that game against Boston?
Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't good. I mean, the first big league inning was clean. 1, 2, 3, nothing got out of the infield. I got my first strikeout on the first batter. So that, looked fine. And then they, got comfortable. It was the best team in the world at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, they were unbelievable last year. And I ended up giving up like a 3-run homer to J.D. Martinez. And yeah, it wasn't a good outing, but at the same time, I was just, especially after taking 2 weeks off, I was like, okay, I made my debut. I don't have to do that anymore.
I'm sorry to make you relive that, because I actually remember what you did.
It was fine. It was a good time. Like, I was happy. Yeah, I gave up, I think, 5 or 6 runs, but, I was like, okay, I'm in the big league.
How'd you do in your first start against Boston this year?
I think I did pretty well. I think I went like 5 innings, 1 run. I kind of got a little bit of revenge against them, and yeah, no, it was in Fenway. The first start was in Fenway, so it was like kind of the same situation.
Absolutely.
Except I actually got to pitch the first inning this time instead of coming in the third out of the bullpen.
I've always wondered, well, this year I wondered, watching you and that bulldog, defiant personality that you have on the mound, how much of that first appearance last year attributes to your attitude this year?
Yeah, I feel like my back's against the wall kind of deal, kind of mentality, and that's kind of how I pitched my whole pro career. I mean, I never had, the stuff that everyone was like, he's a big leaguer. You see him in the league, the guys like all say, oh, that guy's going to be in the big leagues. It was just kind of grinding it out, kind of putting together good enough seasons to move on to the next level. Nothing like, I wasn't dominating, but I had enough stuff to get to the next level, just be good enough. And then, I started kind of figuring out how my stuff played and kind of where to throw certain pitches, like my fastball where it plays best, my slider where it plays best, changeup where it plays best, and kind of figuring out who I was. And even last year, when I went to AAA, I kind of started to figure that stuff out and did really well, even with the below average velocity.
Now, from the outside looking in, you seem to be, I used the word defiant a few minutes ago, have an attitude, an edge about you that is a tough guy mindset. How much of that is you off the field?
I'd say I'm a pretty low key. I don't talk a whole lot. I'm good with teammates and good, but I'm not a loud person in the clubhouse. I'm definitely not like the center of attention. I'm never, I never really want to be heard. I just kind of want to go out there, do my job. I feel like when I go out there, I have a job to do, and if I don't do it, I get frustrated because I have certain expectations for myself to have success and be good at this this sport that I've been playing my whole life.
Okay, this is that moment now where people at home, even if their kids aren't watching, they're going to rewind this back because we have this, you have this, the DVR and all those things. All right, so they're going to rewind this for their kid. You got a kid right now, late middle school, early high school, undersized, doesn't have the lightning rod for an arm, all those things. What would you tell that kid?
I would tell them to never give up that dream, never have someone tell you that you can't do something, because no one thought I could be here. No one, not a thing. I didn't think. Personally, coming up, I never thought, even in college, I'm like, I'm never going to play in the big leagues. I'm like, I like playing baseball, so I'm just going to keep playing it for as long as I can. That was my mentality. And I was like, I don't want to get a regular job, so I'm just going to keep playing and see what happens. And I think always try and figure it out. Always try and, when you're down, when you're not doing well, even after the bad, just keep grinding and trying to figure out what can make you better, because I feel like that's kind of what I did coming up to the minors. Is I would always kind of figure out that league I was in, or that, those hitters I would face. I would always, I would never just keep doing the same thing over again and just keep getting hit after hit after hit. Like you have to make adjustments, you have to make changes, and kind of figuring out what works best for you, I think is the most important part.
Okay, take that personal figure it out for me mindset and now add it to the new regime that you're working under with the analytics.
Exactly.
How much does that, you're already a thinker, a guy who wants to figure it out.
Yeah.
So how much does the new regime now help your game where it is now?
I think that was my best decision. I went to a facility this offseason, and they had all that technology. I knew we were getting a new front office. I knew we were getting new staff.
You want to jump ahead.
I wanted to get to know this stuff, because that's kind of the way I think. I think very logically, and that's what these analytics are doing, are kind of putting everything into an equation, like this plus this equals this. And I went into this offseason kind of trying to figure out that technology, and the people that I worked with were very in tune with it, and it made a lot of sense for me. It made a lot of sense that my fastball spins like this, so I need to throw it here. My changeup does this, so I need to throw it in this situation, or I need to create more of this to get success. And you kind of figure out what pitches are good, what pitches are bad. You also have to know your weaknesses and kind of when to use those for your, in your favor. And having this new regime, having these new guys that come in with all this analytical knowledge, I think it's just been the perfect equation, because this is what I love to do. This is what I love, figuring things out, and that's all that they're trying to do right now.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. That John Means fella, he's having a good year, but I don't know whether he's legit or not. How would you respond to that?
I'd say I respect that, and I'm a kind of guy that's going to try and prove you wrong at all times. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
You'd probably rather me say that than say, hey, you're the man.
Exactly.
You'd probably rather me say you're not legit.
This whole all-star stuff is way too much, publicity for me. I'd rather just play the game and be over with it. I'm not someone who wants to put his face out there a whole lot. I just want to go out there every fifth day and try to get a win.
But at this pace where you're going right now, your face is going to be out there. I mean, honestly, you're on a pace right now that if you continue to improve, you'll be one of those front of the rotation guys. Did that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up for a guy who a couple of years ago didn't think he'd be here?
Not really. It's one of those things I was thinking about the other day. I mean, I didn't think I was being in the big leagues, but I also didn't think that I would ever fail. So it was one of the things I didn't really think that far ahead.
Just one step at a time.
But it was just like I was thinking of what was in front of me, and I just didn't think that I would fail. But I didn't think about the big lights, the big leagues. I thought of it as kind of like a fantasy land. That's kind of what guys coming up through the minors, which I was the same way. Like, you see the game on TV, it's always on TV in the clubhouse, right? And you see those guys just look so much bigger on TV, and you're like, I'm never gonna make it. Like, look at these guys playing this game. It's just so much more advanced. Then you get up here and you're like, oh, it's just baseball. Like, it's what you've been doing. And some guys just put it such on a pedestal, and that's my biggest advice for these guys that we're going to be calling up soon, is don't change anything.
Right.
It's the same game. And with the new analytics what we have, you don't have to change anything. You know how to pitch. You know how to use your stuff. You know how to use your fastball, slider, changeup, whatever. You don't have to change what you were doing down there just because it's at a higher level.
Now, this organization is struggling right now in terms of wins and losses. When you hear the word rebuild or reboot, as a young player, does that mean anything to you?
I honestly, I just think because why it's so hard right now to win in a rebuild. It's not a talent level. It's nothing like that. It's just we're told we're not supposed to win, and we're just trying to improve our abilities. So there's not as much, giving up for the other player, which is, it sounds selfish. It's not selfish at all. It's more like guys just trying to develop their talent, right? It's just guys trying to develop. So there's less of the, just going for the win. It's guys trying to get those reps in the big leagues to try and develop their skills as much as they possibly can.
For Oriole fans that have kind of fallen off because of the tough times right now, what would your message be to them?
Just hang on, and we will figure this thing out. We have the right crew behind us. We have the right front office. We're doing all the right things behind the scenes, that you don't exactly see in the games right now, but I think we are making all the right strides.
How important is it to have Brandon Hyde as the man in that clubhouse during this time right now?
It's been huge. He just keeps things very relaxed. He's great for young kids coming up because he doesn't make the game any bigger than it needs to be. He keeps it simple. He keeps it easy. It's been really good especially for younger kids.
Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it.